how to manage an uncontrolled intersection. Hello and welcome to episode 43 of Throwing Your Parents Under the Bus. I'm Jane Ubel, and of course with me today is veteran crash investigator and driver safety expert Mike Pehl. Can we hear you there, Mike?
Yes, hey, welcome.
Thank you. All right, and Natasha, who is the keeper of our enrichments and our social media expert, how are you doing today, Miss Natasha?
I am doing great, thank you.
All right. Well, I'm going to turn it over to you, Natasha, to tell us about today's observation, which I believe is uncontrolled intersections.
I think you're right. Dear Drive Safe, Ride Safe. When I did this observation, I found that I had the most trouble with when we could turn, when some turns didn't have lights, or when we came to a four-way stop. And this one comes from Shelby.
Shelby. It's good that you recognize probably our most dangerous intersection out there in Uncontrolled, because nobody has anything to tell them what to do. So obviously they haven't been taught to be smarter, safer drivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have, Shelby, because you sent this back to us. So good job. All right. First of all, when you do behind the wheels, and parents, when you're training, you need to start seeing that new driver and old driver recognizes the back of the intersection signs of the street you're crossing. So if we look left and right, we're looking for cars, but we can also be looking for the back shape of a stop sign, the back shape of a yield sign. Okay, if I don't have a stop sign, yield sign, stoplight, I need to make dang sure that cross traffic doesn't have that same situation, because that's where when two people meet, boom, we have the T-bones. 99% of the cities you're going to drive in across the US, yes, even Minneapolis, Dallas, Texas, doesn't matter, they're big cities. And as you get out to the outskirts of that, there's uncontrolled intersections. Why? The cost worthiness of putting signs in, and hopefully you will never encounter an uncontrolled where it's a 40-mile-an-hour speed zone. All right. But if you're in a residential, most states that if there's no speed limit sign, that's 30 miles an hour. 30 is too fast when houses are stacked next to each other, kids playing, bikers on the roads, all that, intersections every block. So as you come up to them intersections, just remember this. When we look left first, the reason we look left first is because that's the first lane of traffic that will hit you. Okay? That's your door, the driver's door. You're going to get hit in your door if you don't look left first. All right? The reason we yield to the right, the purpose of that is yielding to the right gives you a whole half of an intersection to see and react. All right? So if everybody does it right, we all have a half of a whole 12 feet more to decide what we need to do. So as we're coming up to a street, remember, look, you live, don't look, you die. It's that simple. As we look left and right, we're looking to see that back of that stop sign, yield sign. And remember, a yield sign doesn't mean stop. So that driver coming at you to T-bone you might see the yield sign and just shoot through. Your job to be the smarter, safer driver is when you recognize a street, the first thing we identify, is it controlled or uncontrolled? If it's uncontrolled, we need to cover the brake, squeeze it down a little to the point you can see. You don't run up to them and stop. You slow to the point you can make the quick judgment to the left. And then as you switch over to the right, you have all that other room to see. So the blinder it is, the slower you go through it. The more you can see it, you can maintain your speed limit. So, but identify the intersection as a controlled or uncontrolled, and you will never get T-boned.
Well, that's a good one. That's good. You know, I always was just thinking when you were talking about the uncontrolled, about how when we bike ride and we're on paths and you're turning and you can't see if another
Yes.
car is coming, we just ding our little, we ding our bell so people know we're coming around. It's like, maybe people should just honk, but
Yeah.
it might not.
Maybe.
Well, it'd be honk, 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 honk. Everybody be honking. We would just start ignoring it then, so,
Probably. Okay. Well, for a moment, I thought that was a good idea.
yeah.
All right. Well, once again, thanks for the great information, Mike. And we want to thank you all for coming and listening to us, and we appreciate you. And of course, we also have our podcasts on our DriveSafeRideSafe.com podcast, and we also have a YouTube /DriveSafeRideSafe1, which is the number, not the name. And here's the thing. You can go to this YouTube channel, and it not only houses our podcast, but also more than 100 short reels about what to do and driving tips. And we really believe that why don't you greet it before you need it, as Mike would say. And that what we mean is, if you go and look up what not to do or how to do things better before you get into a crash, it can help you be a smarter, safer driver. And that's our hope, actually, and our mission is to create smarter, safer drivers. So we'd love you to do that. And of course, you can give us a shout out by emailing your questions, or if you have ideas of what you'd like, maybe you had an incident that you had on the road and want some answers for, we would love to help you out. You can email us at drivesaferidesafe@gmail.com. So this has been episode 43 of Throwing Your Parents Under the Bus. I'm Jane Ubel, and we want to remind you to drive safe and
Ride safe, I guess.
I took your do it over. I messed
Just
up.
took over everything.
I'm Jane Ubel, and we want to remind you to
Drive safe.
RideSafe.com.
.com. Oopsie. Have a good one.